Okay.
Just like
Updated
I'm going to
to
update the
not be
intro to
Genesis or
this
Genesism.
on the Stick After Dark and say, hi, I'm Joe Drilling. I'm
Hi,
here with Eric Allen.
I'm Eric Allen, and I'm here with Mike Ailes.
and I'm Paul Morbid Coffee Norman, and I'm not here with anybody.
Oh, we miss coffee.
It definitely still says
We do
Genesis or
miss coffee.
Genesis isn't Star Wars
Well,
Jedi.
I definitely changed it, so whatever.
I see Genesis or Genesis and Angry Birds
All right, well, you need to refresh your fucking
on the
thing.
stick.
Whatever.
Angry
You know
Birds.
what?
I just refreshed
It
it.
doesn't matter. We're going to start a new... This is Genesis or Genesis isn't, apparently. Star Wars Jedi.
This looks really good.
And
for a
it Genesis isn't a Genesis game.
I'm gonna just leave the settings up.
Wait, this splash screen reminds me of Mass Effect.
Fair. This doesn't really have... I mean, you're kind of flying around on a ship talking to dudes and stuff. but it
Yeah,
doesn't have
I'm
much
not
in it.
presuming. It's just sort of the angle of attack on the ship and all that stuff just
Yeah.
makes me think of Mass Effect.
All right, so
Which makes me want to play Mass Effect.
one of the first things that you'll notice here in the difficulty select is you have story mode where it's like you take very little damage and enemies don't attack, and there's another like that's it's actually kind of a
parry
neat
time-
thing, but
parry
yeah,
timer.
like the parry timing bar gets bigger or smaller depending on how hard it is, and it that's like the biggest difference in how hard this game is that like I started on Jedi Master and the windows are, I would say, twice as big as they are in something like Sekiro or Dark Souls as far as the parry timing.
Sekiro is pretty exacting
Right.
on the parry.
There's a
timing.
reason why I sold Sekiro back, because I'm not good at parrying shit. And so even on this, I'll say that Jedi Master is like the equivalent of this game's hard mode. It's pretty easy, I've found so far, but so I don't know. Maybe I'll just put it on Jedi Knight for this stream here,
Jedi Knigget.
just to make it a little easier on myself. But anyway,
That's very bright.
this game is definitely like it borrows, like I said earlier, it's kind of a Prince of Persia, like a lot of running around and exploring environments and climbing on things and doing like wall runs and jumps and stuff like that. That's kind of like the core of the game, is exploring on planets and doing parkour stuff. And then the combat borrows some stuff from Dark Souls, where you have a stamina bar and you're like blocking and parrying, and even on like the quote unquote hard mode, most enemies only take a few hits to kill. Like stormtroopers and shit take one hit basically.
So I wasn't really aware of this game. Oh, this was really dumb. I wasn't really aware of this game prior to this because I just have a filter from so many years of just horseshit Star Wars tie-in games
Yeah.
that I just like don't even listen when somebody's like, "Oh, there's this Star Wars game," and then I started hearing buzz about, "Oh yeah, it's pretty good," and then I heard, and it's made by Respawn, which I was like,
Right.
What?"
Right. Well, so that's
Okay.
like that's where like all the parkour and movement stuff comes from, is because there's a
Yeah.
lot of that in the
From Titanfall.
Titanfall, especially Titanfall 2. And apparently there's some
Yeah.
like bonkers ass shit that happens near the end of this game that is like straight out of the single player stuff in Titanfall 2.
That's relevant to my interests.
Yeah. So far, like all I've seen is just like I'm fighting some weird bugs on a planet and doing some wall runs and stuff. But there are times where this is like the best looking video game I've ever seen in my entire life, and then there's other times where the animations are really weird and it looks fucking crazy, and especially the way that this guy starts his sprint is a little like I got a load in my pants.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the lightsabers are real good. Like
I heard that there's like a number of different ones you can get too.
well, it's
that
like
are
so there's no like one of the reasons why this isn't a Dark Souls is that there really is no like there's no armor, there's no stats. There's like a skill tree where you can like I want to double tap Y to do like a dash attack or whatever, like that kind of a thing. Which that's what makes me. That's another reason I say it's more like Prince of Persia than Dark Souls. Really, is that Dark Souls is about developing a character and, making a build out of stats and things. But
I feel like there needs to be like some sort of de minimis thing where you can like compare a game to Dark Souls without it being totally fucking meaningless and like being like you parry things, so it's a soul. It's like a Souls like. I'm just like fuck off.
Well, I mean,
that's dumb.
The way that
parrying existed before fucking Dark Souls.
Right, but so the way that the camera looks and the way that you swing your sword and the way that there's like a heavy attack and a light attack and the way that you block or can parry out of a block with timing and stuff, like that stuff is all feels and looks a lot like Dark Souls. It doesn't look anything like Devil May Cry. It's way slower and more deliberate than that. And same thing with like God of War. You can't like mash out. There's like no combos to mash out or anything. It's just very simple, like heavy attack, light attack, with a few other moves that you can kind of get like later. But you never are like mashing out combos or doing like crazy things.
Look at how you're climbing. It's just like Uncharted.
It's not. It's like Prince of Persia, not like Uncharted. Because, well, first of all, I haven't played Uncharted, but also Uncharted is a gun game, and this game doesn't have guns in it.
No, you can't get a blaster?
No. You're a Jedi, man. This isn't Knights of the Old Republic where you can pick what kind of character class you want to be.
Right.
That climbing really does look like Prince of Persia climbing.
Yeah, plus it feels like there's a little bit more to it than Prince of Persia, or not Prince of Persia, than
Uncharted.
But I like the later Uncharted games have like a good amount of exploration and like looking around and figuring out where you want to go and stuff, right? Hi, Mike.
I've only really played 2 high. I do. Man, animations in this game are really good.
Sometimes.
The bit where you're squeezing through the corridor looks really good.
Yeah.
The light sourcing looks really good too, but I don't know if that's because
like
you're fancy pants ray tracing or
I
not.
don't think this game has ray tracing stuff in it. I think it's just all like...
I mean, it's a Respawn game, right? They make good looking games.
They do.
Who here has played Titanfall 2 at this point?
Yes.
Nope.
I've seen a lot of it played, but I have not actually sat down and played it. I've seen some of the good bits.
Yeah, I ran through the campaign last year, so it's pretty good.
Yep.
But yeah, like the climbing in Uncharted is kind of Prince of Persia style, but it's a lot more... The environment is more varied, but that also makes it a lot harder to read, whereas Prince of Persia is much more grid-based. You can kind of always tell what you can and can't do. And personally, I kind of prefer the Prince of Persia style because it's more gamey.
Yeah,
whereas the Uncharted style is more cinematic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely color coding in the Uncharted games of like generally objects of this color are things you can grab and objects of this color are things that you cannot.
Right, but the shapes are a lot more natural, like organic-y.
Yeah.
Right.
Which makes it look really good, but it also means I get more annoyed trying to figure out which part of it.
Yeah, it can be harder to suss it out sometimes. That's true.
Okay, this looks real good.
Yeah, this is sometimes. Wait till I get my lightsaber out.
So where does when in the timeline?
Zip.
Yeah, because
so this is apparently like a few years after the episode 3. So this is like after
they've been hunting down Jedi.
Yes.
After the Clone Wars.
But before Star Wars.
But before the other Star Wars.
Before the one that was called Star Wars.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah.
So
seeing this game come out has just kind of reminded me that, man, I really do like Star Wars when it's good.
Yeah.
Which does not happen maybe as often as it should.
Yeah, that's kind of why I grabbed it. Is like I haven't watched any of the new Star Wars movies. I just was like after episode, really sometime. I was really excited for those new Star Wars movies, and we as a family went and saw the first one because I was like whatever. What year did that come out?
You mean the prequels?
I mean the prequels. I'm talking about the first.
That was 99.
Right. Okay, so I would have been 17. And we were very excited. That was a thing that we all liked as a family, right? There was a thing that my dad had seen in his 20s and taken his younger brother to when he was in his teens. And so we all went and watched it. And there was like a moment, like the second time that Jar Jar shows up and it's apparent that like he's gonna be around the whole time, and my dad and I exchanged this look where it's like, we're gonna have to deal with this, huh? And it's just like,
you sure did.
And then it just kind of like, then the second one came out, and it was like, it was kind of a little bit more fun, and it had the dumb Yoda fight, which I'll defend as being dumb fun, but not actually good.
Unfortunately, that happens in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
we saw that twice. I went with my family to see that, and then I went with
that
my
was the
friends
worst
to see
one.
it.
That's the worst Star Wars.
They all suck. All three of them suck. And then I never went and saw the third one. Like
I would say the third one is the worst.
We decided as a group that just like this thing that we loved was dead, and so then we eventually watched it on cable or whatever. But and it's like, after that, it's like, I'm not interested in Star Wars movies anymore. But somewhere in between the release of those movies is when Knights of the Old Republic came out, and that's like the best Star Wars thing, is the arc between those two games. And it's partially because it's set 4,000 years before the story of Star Wars, so it's like you don't really have to...
You're not saddled with a whole bunch of baggage.
Right, with all the like bullshit that George Lucas put into Star Wars, you can just do like the fun...
you can just do lightsabers and...
Yeah, you can have lightsabers and space wizards, and you don't have to worry about all the like...
Kind of like if you're doing a side story like this.
I always liked the stuff that was set way out of the timeline the most of the expanded. Like there's some comics that take place like 2,000 years before. I've never read any of the comics or
done any of the things, but that was why I haven't seen those movies, but
so the new movies, I mean, they're...
People like them, seems like.
One of them is like 2 of them are really good, like maybe better than parts of the original trilogy, and then like some of them are not very good, but none of them is worse than any of the prequels, I don't think.
I mean, that would be hard, because the prequels are like B-
really
minus movies. Like,
really
they're
bad.
Yeah. The writing is bad, the directing is bad, the acting is bad. Like, there's like nothing good about those movies, really.
Yeah, it's
correct.
It's pretty rough, but like Last Jedi and Rogue One, I think are like among the best.
Fist bump. Agreed.
Yeah. Solo is not good, but it's still better than the prequels.
It's not good, but it's still kind of fun in places.
Yeah, I mean it has,
and it's certainly better than any of the fucking prequels.
Right.
All the new ones are competent, which is what's not the case with all the prequels. It's kind of weird how not competent they are.
Yeah, agreed.
My favorite thing is the people who like those movies trying to turn the incompetent filmmaking into like actually like genius, brilliant filmmaking. Like have you heard about the Darth Jar Jar thing? Familiar with this?
No, but that does sound like it would improve that trilogy quite a lot.
There's a bunch of people who think that in Lucas's original draft, he was gonna have Jar Jar be the Sith Lord who is manipulating everything.
Well,
and they point to all these things that happen in Phantom Menace as evidence of this, which are in fact just like bad filmmaking. But like they're like, look, in this shot, Jar Jar shouldn't be able to like do this thing, but he does. So like clearly he must be a Sith Lord. And I'm like, or like Lucas doesn't really have a good idea of how to frame a shot, especially when he's doing something that's like full of effects and like he doesn't really care.
Right.
That's possible too. And then they're like, but then the studio, man. And I'm like, okay, but the problem with that is that like Lucas owned the studio, so I don't really know what the studio would have had to do with like anything.
That was
these
the
were
whole
Lucasfilm productions.
That's the whole reason we were in this situation.
I just wanted to point out, and sitting here talking to my buddy Prof here, that one of the things I like about this game is that the alien faces look more like people in rubber masks than they do like the CGI.
They have that like, limited movement and expression.
Right. It's like the fact that they're weird video game. Yeah, the fact that they're weird video game faces actually works in their favor as far as I'm concerned. But like some of the
Man, the lighting in this.
Yeah, right? Like, even like Kale Lightsaber here, his face is it's pretty good.
Kale Lights.
He looks exactly like Archie.
He is Archie. When you bring up an Archie Star Wars crossover.
When you bring up the menu.
Oh man, is this Star Wars Jedi Riverdale?
Yes.
Oh man.
When you bring up the menu, which I'll do
as soon as I
can.
It's the alien he's talking to, Jughead.
Yeah. See, like if you bring up the menu, I don't have any abilities yet, but when you bring up the menu and you have abilities, the first one is lightsaber, so it says Kale in the top right, and then it says lightsaber under his name, so it looks like his name is Kale Lightsaber.
That's more like the knockoff, like 1979, Star Wars alike.
Yeah.
That came out.
Galaxy of Terror,
the character would be named Cal Lightsaber or something.
Thunk
like
hard
that.
chest.
Right.
Roll. Everybody's gonna sell you out.
So, speaking of Star Wars, did you guys hear that the Han and Greedo scene has been edited once again?
I did hear about it.
Actually, I saw it.
Real or?
Yes.
Yes, for real.
Yes.
So the version that shows up on
Lucas,
Disney
right?
Plus
He yells McClunky.
is a version
What?
that Lucas apparently peed on one more time for an intended Blu-ray release that didn't happen. And so when they put it up there, they put that one up, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?"
So now Han and Greedo apparently shoot at the same time, which doesn't make any sense. And Greedo yells McClunky before he dies.
But you don't see the body. There's an explosion. You're having a weird kind of hallway dream here, huh?
Man, that
Actually,
is
playing
actually,
Star
yeah, I
Wars
was gonna
Star
say,
Wars
actually,
as
this
fuck
game is just
hallway.
Control. This is what happens at the end of Control.
This
That is
hallway
pretty
is
good.
Star Wars as fuck. This does look like Control. This is
Yeah,
exactly it. Yeah.
Apparently, this guy is Forrest Whitaker in some of the new movies or something, or some of the old movies, possibly.
I mean, Forrest Whitaker
Would
is
be in
in one
Rogue
of the
One.
new. Yeah, he's in Rogue One, but he is like just a dude. He looks like Forrest Whitaker.
Okay, I thought somebody said that dude was played by.
He's not an
Forrest
alien.
Whitaker,
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just Forrest Whitaker.
I don't know anything about the new Star
With,
Wars.
like, a
movies. Look at these
breather mask.
stormtroopers, though.
Dang.
Right?
They look like stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best things in this game is the inept mook stormtrooper dialogue that happens while you're running around exploring, and they're talking about how they're going to get the Jedi. It's very good.
Oh hey, I just got a pin.
Look how
of
dirty
that
their
thing's face
armor is.
helmet
Yeah.
thing.
Ooh, TIE interceptors.
So speaking of
TIE advanced, I guess.
Control.
no, Knights of the Old Republic. Apparently, they're in the
BioWare's
early
gonna
stages of
fix-
making a new Mass Effect game. How excited are
Really?
you guys?
I'd like them to finish the last one first.
I was just gonna say, I feel like the
Answer
reception of
hazy.
the last
Ask
one.
again later.
Yeah. Apparently, they're
No,
hiring
also,
up to
aren't they, like-
redo Anthem as well. So
I was just gonna say that I thought I heard they were redoing, like they were gonna rejigger
A Robot
Anthem
Reborn.
in like what was the Final Fantasy? Yeah, Realm Reborn type of relaunch or whatever.
The Galaxy Reborn.
Yeah, we'll see.
I just have no faith in BioWare at this point to
No.
make characters or a story that I care about. I
Agreed.
gave them 2 good chances with Dragon Age Inquisition and Mass Effect Andromeda, and I didn't even have all the technical problems with Andromeda. I just didn't care about what was happening ever.
it seems like the magic is gone.
This is no comment.
It's really
or
sad,
anarchist.
right? Because it's like the 3 most important PC game developers of my lifetime are Blizzard, which is like in
Evil.
in
Which
the
is
timeout. They're in the
Suppressing
timeout
democracy.
chair at the moment. For me, is like there's a new thing in Hearthstone that I want to check out that I haven't really touched too much of because it's just like it makes me feel icky. I just don't want to do anything to do with them right now. And it's like BioWare is just like a fucking
Train wreck.
Well, it's like a slowly decaying corpse of BioWare at this point. There's just like
Yeah.
the things that I liked about BioWare don't exist anymore, it seems like. And then the other big news of the other big PC developer of my youth is Valve, who just announced is going to put out an Alex Vance VR experience,
Yeah.
which I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah. I'm just like, I mean, they didn't even show anything. It's just like, hey, this is going to exist.
Supposedly tomorrow they're going to show a trailer or
Yeah.
something. So
Right. Yeah, so I have no opinion until at least seeing that, but who even knows, like, what that's supposed to be or how it's supposed
Anthony's
to work.
opinions on it on Twitter were suspiciously like Scott Steiner math, so which allowed me to introduce Alex to Scott Steiner math.
So I'll
which,
admit
you know,
that I heard that and I was like, well, what are the
What are the odds of not?
no?
It's actually
what's,
good.
No. What's so? What are these?
Yes.
What are the what's a Valve VR headset going for these days? Like, well, way too much for me to even consider this, but I thought about it for like a split second, right? Because
you want to play the Half-Life thing?
I want to play the Half-Life thing. I like Half-Life. I like Valve.
Like
remember,
Half-Life.
Hey, do you guys fucking remember when
like,
Valve made video games and they were like,
I
a lot
do.
of them are some of the best video games of all time?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's like,
can you do some weird hacking with your PSVR to make that work somehow? Or
maybe. There's like a PC thing that I tried, but it didn't work very well.
Well, so it's like.
So I don't know if that's a thing that, but it's just like.
Well, the last Valve thing was that card game or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
there was that card game, and before that it was Dota 2, which that card game was like co-developed by the guy that made Magic, and like.
Oh yeah, right, Richard Garfield. Yeah.
Well, my understandings of what are wrong with the card game are not about the card game.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the monetization around the card game.
Exactly.
I think part of the problem is the card game itself, just because it takes like a really fucking ridiculously long time to play a game of it. I never actually did play it, but like the idea that you pay $30 and then also have to buy card packs and stuff seems pretty bonkers. Blocking. There's nothing to block.
This looks good.
Check out these lightsabers.
Yeah, the lightsaber stuff
Looks good.
really nice.
Yeah.
It's glowing.
I mean, this looks. Yeah, I wouldn't call this Dark Souls.
Okay, wow, the part where you hit the wall and it leaves the streaks behind, that's pretty cool. You know, one of the weirdest little graphical things that impressed me in Control, I don't know if, Joe, if you've gotten this far, but there are spots where you have to drop down and you land on, like, air ducts and you dent them when you land on them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, this combat is, what it mostly is Prince of Persia.
So, does it ever become Control? Like, I guess I don't know how far you've played it, but does it become Control? Like, do you get to start, like, throwing shit at people with the Force? Or
I have no idea. Like... You get, like, a Force push. Like, I know that I get that, because there's, like, but yeah, like, the way that you're, like, pairing attacks and, like, one-hit killing guys, like, that is very Prince of Persia. Like, everything about this game is mostly Prince... I fucking love those Prince of Persian games, or at least I liked the first one, and I liked the second one that was also called Prince of Persia. That was a little simpler. But...
Yeah, right. The like sort of watercolor.
Yeah, looks really nice.
The look of that was fantastic. Yeah. I enjoyed playing the game.
It was like a little simpler, a little easier. I didn't really like the super like dark kind of Godsmacky.
Two Thrones.
Yeah. Well, nobody loved that game. I mean, it was actually an okay game to play if you could get past the gross on your eyeballs and ear balls.
The third one
I like the parry, like this. Looking at it,
a lot of cool animations.
Kind of Batman, Arkham / Spider-Man, like the counter mechanic.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like that though. Like you're not like tapping rhythmically or whatever. It's on the trigger, and you're just like there's just like a timing window, and then you hit the attack button.
So you defend and then hit attack, and then it does like the flip over, like the roll over the back and hit him. It just does that when you hit attack.
Yes.
Okay.
They just made a bunch of. Whoops! I ran off the edge.
Oh, just good job. I like that.
Better checkpointing than Control.
When a game no kidding. I was this spot where I was like close to another control point, but not like I hadn't unlocked it yet, and I can't even remember what I was doing, but I kept dying, and I was like, this is so aggravating. Like it was like the third time that it happened, and I was just like, man, this game is so good, and if it wasn't, I would just be fed up and stop playing because of this bullshit.
Yep.
But I like in games like this and in action games, like or in shooters, like I was playing Strikers 1945 on the Neo Geo last week a little bit, and like when your attacks have like you can sort of feel the weight of your attacks, for lack of a better term, like when your base attack even feels strong enough that low level enemies like get taken out immediately, like that not that you're not when your attack feels weightless and you're just sort of chopping through everything, like the recent No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again, that had that problem where nothing felt like it had any impact. You just kind of swept your lightsaber back and forth, and like all the mooks just died, and it wasn't
It's like 99 Nights.
Right, but like this, the way this looks, and sort of the way that, you know, again, some of the shooters like Ikaruga or Strikers 1945 feel, where it feels like your gun has real impact, and like smaller enemies just sort of pop when you hit them. Also makes it feel like when you face something that doesn't just pop when you hit it, like it makes it feel more threatening.
Yeah, there's a toad in the first level of this game, let me tell you.
Yeah,
that's a real Dark Souls. You'll see. I'll get at least to the toad, I think, and then you'll go, oh yeah, this looks like a Dark Souls thing. Like I said, it's like a Prince of Persia game with a Dark Souls hat on.
And like Metroid underwear.
Yeah, there's a little Metroid-y kind of thing. Like there's like some stuff on the map where you like, oh, you can't get through here right now. You need to earn the force push, and so then you need to go to the planet where it has the force push, and then you can come back and go.
No, I didn't realize that. I thought it was like a pretty linear action game.
No,
it's,
like you actually get to choose right off the bat where you go, and like one planet is sort of designed for you at the level you're at, and the other one is like super difficult with a lot of enemies and stuff.
I guess I did realize that because I remember seeing stuff online, like just like videos in my YouTube feed of like, here's how to get like this weapon like pretty early, and you should probably do like, here's the things you should do first. And I guess that makes sense. If it was linear, they probably wouldn't be telling you like,
there's no first at that point.
Be a guide to tell you like, go do this first. But yeah, like I feel like there's like a Darth Maul like double-ended lightsaber that I feel like we're saying is like, go get this right away because it's super cool and like good and fun to use.
Yeah, this looks like the thing that would be fun to play. I mean, I'm totally in for a Dark Souls / Metroid Light. If it's just, I've heard it's got really good. Clearly, looks great. Makes good use of the sound effects and things like that.
I mean, I'm ready for a decent Star Wars game that's not trying to squeeze every thin dime out of me.
Yeah.
Every time I boot it up.
Use my controller again.
This is what happens with your controller desyncs?
Yeah, yep. It's really annoying.
Chug.
Yeah, it does it in every game, so then I have to just like pull the battery out, and I gotta get one of those instead of doing Bluetooth. I need to just shell to $20 for the good Xbox One.
The official dongle. Yeah, I just have to resync my controller sometimes, and it can be a bit of a pain. You gotta like sort of desync it, but in the Bluetooth menu, and you know, then repair it sometimes. But I don't have this effect when I.
Whoops. I still just use wired USB controllers.
Yeah.
I have seen some. Retrobit makes 2.4 gigahertz wireless controller. They have a USB dongle. They got 2.4 gigahertz receiver that are their Genesis and Saturn style controllers, and they come with a Genesis and a USB receiver, which wouldn't be useful for a game like this, I suppose, but that could be nice, I guess, to not have to be sat right in front of my computer to play computer games.
Bad Lady Jedi.
But yeah, so anyway, to answer a question that you asked like 10 minutes ago, Joe, is that there is like a really in-depth like lightsaber customization system, but it's not like the one in like Knights of the Old Republic where you would get upgrade pieces for your lightsaber and could kind of customize it to your playstyle. This is literally just cosmetics, so you can change everything from
color of the blade.
Yeah, the blade color, the handle, all that stuff.
Nice. So you have like a purple Sam Jackson lightsaber then?
I have not unlocked that one yet.
Okay.
But yeah, so like you start off with like green and blue, I think.
Right. How are you supposed to tell which attacks are red attacks when everything is red?
She glows red.
She glowed. Yeah, that looked. It looked pretty obvious to me when she.
But yeah, it's actually it's kind of misleading to a certain extent because there's like that toad enemy I was telling you about before. He glows red before he does this dash attack, but if you dodge when he glows red, he'll still hit you because there's like a charge up before the attack lands.
So you'd still have to time it, right?
You still have to time it, yeah. It's just like it's like a warning, and then you have to. He like does the thing where he like like puffs up his chest pouch, and then he dashes, but he glows red before he even puffs up the chest thing. So you have to like, the red is like a warning, but you can't just use it to dodge because the timing isn't right. Also, this guy Grease, the pilot of the ship, he's a fucking awesome character.
Oh, that bad Jedi lady is hardcore.
Yeah. She's not a Jedi. She's a sister of off a planet of something. I don't know. I went down a Jedi lore rabbit hole because one of the planets that you visit, I recognized the name of, and then it was like, it's the planet where these ancient aliens met these crazy Force witches, and then the Force witches something, and whatever. There were connections to Knights of the Old Republic and stuff in there that.
My name is Sir Junda.
But none of that's canon anymore, Eric.
I don't know what's canon and what's not. I don't know, man.
So I mean, I'm not a person who cares because I think, you know, if you enjoy the stories, there's value in
Is it just the movies then?
It's the movies and the second cartoon, I think. Kurt, do I have that right? The Clone Wars cartoon, I think. And then like now, like the new games, like this game and I think Battlefront 1 and 2
Is
are
the Mandalorian,
now, like,
is that canon?
Yes, the Mandalorian is canon.
Does that mean the crazy,
like all
the crazy
books
ooze monster
with,
that like
Thrawn and everything, like all that stuff?
The crazy ooze monster that takes over planets, the celestial god beings, the crazy frog people that took over the whole galaxy. None of that stuff exists anymore. That was where, so the connection to the planet in this game and to those ancient aliens was the Star Forge, which was the thing that the bad guy and Knights of the Old Republic took. Also, this lady's eyes are
That's where
fucking me
Thor
up
went.
Bad.
This is where Thor went to reforge Mjolnir.
Yeah,
right.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was where Revan and Malak took to. That's where they had infinite resources to attack the Old Republic.
Yeah.
The Sith rose again, or whatever.
Which is also referenced in the Old Republic game.
Yeah, I love that game. Anyways,
I can put a sticker of the Jedi, of the evil Sith lady in the chat.
Is that because I'm streaming Star Wars?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, them some bulgy eyes.
Yeah, there's something's a little. She's got.
I mean, I have seen people with those kind of eyes.
She should go see a doctor. I don't know if I've seen people with buggy eyes, but I've never seen. Yeah, I've never seen people with eyes quite like that before.
Yeah, the guy who played Gushy on Quantum Leap.
She's got large Marge.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
On, you know,
you just need to eat some more.
yeah. She's.
And when they pulled him from the X-wing, he looked like this. Tell them Twi'lek Marge sent you.
But yeah, this is the part where you're walking around talking to people on your ship.
How can you tell you're not holding two fingers up to your ear?
Do you ever tell anybody that this is your favorite shop on the
No, it doesn't go anything like that. No.
I'm Cal Lightsaber. This is my favorite.
Weird space banjo
lightsaber.
shop
Space dobro.
Yeah.
Sitar thing.
This is my favorite holo chest set on the Citadel.
Yeah. Man, Phil Tippett again. He designed all the weird little monsters on the chess set.
Mike, did you finish Control?
I did.
Okay. That thing was pretty cool, right?
I'm not actually sure which thing you're talking about, because there's a lot of cool stuff in that
but
game.
there's that one thing where you put the thing on your head and then you do the thing. It's fucking rad as fuck. That awesome song plays.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we can just say the name of the place without it being a major spoiler, but...
No, I don't. Nobody gets to know unless we have to play the game.
Okay.
You know.
No, that part kicked ass.
Yeah, that part kicks ass.
Joe hasn't done that yet?
No, Joe hasn't done that yet.
I haven't put anything on my head yet in Control.
Yeah.
So I'm on my way
to find
my I just found out where my brother is, and I'm on my way to find him.
You're getting there then.
Yeah. I did almost everything in the game. Beat all the annoying bosses. I like the designs of the annoying bosses. I just don't like the way that they basically kill you in one hit. Like
Yeah.
Not actually, but they can get you down to like 10% health with one attack.
Yeah. The only one I really struggled against was the when you have to fight Sal for the second time. In that big open space. Yeah, where he's like floating around and there's all those explodey guys coming after you.
Yeah, near the turntable.
Yeah. That was the one that took me the longest. I really like the fungus boss is really tough and the run back is pretty annoying, but that was my favorite boss in the whole game.
Man, I got so good at that run back. I didn't even do it that many times, but like after 8 or 9 trips back, like I was getting there in, I don't know, 20 seconds.
Most of the run backs, I love, do you see the wipe?
That was a good wipe.
Yeah, there's some good Star Wars
wipes
in
love
this
the
game.
style.
Yeah.
I love Star Wars visual aesthetic so much and the sound design.
Yeah.
I don't think the new movies are bad. I just don't know. Part of me realizes that I can't go back and be 10 years old anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm ever going to be as impressed by a Star Wars movie as I was. But
yeah, I mean,
it's hard to.
I also don't know that I could ever be disappointed as hard by a Star Wars movie again as I was by a Phantom Menace. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to recreate being a kid. I'm sure no one else has this, but being a kid sitting in the theater and watching Star Wars and just having the Star Destroyer just fill the entire screen. You're just like, what the fuck?
Well, see,
yeah, I didn't get to see
course,
Star Wars in the
it was
theater until I was
fuck.
like 18 because that when they re-released
yeah, I was gonna
the special
say I got
edition.
to see the re-releases, but not the original. You know, I would have been not born when the first 2 came out.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of watching VHS copies when I was a kid, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I had my uncle was about that age. He just turned 50 and he was like right at the ripe age. So he had all the cool Star Wars toys. And so then when I was I'm 14 years younger than him, so I got to play with all that stuff when I was young.
I had a lot of the cool Star Wars toys too, actually. I mean, my brother is older than me, and I think he was kind of into that at the time too.
Oh.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
I never got let down by the prequel movies that bad because I didn't go and see them until they'd been out for a few months, and I'd already heard everyone bagging on them for so long.
I saw Phantom Menace at midnight, the night it came out.
I'm gonna try and play this with a mouse and keyboard.
And I was like,
"This is gonna go."
That's a real goofy looking run.
Yeah, the way that, especially when you start the sprints.
Yeah, it's like start sprinting.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like she's a chugga choo choo.
Yeah, I saw Phantom Menace at midnight, and I was just like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like midi-chlorians, like,
yeah. It's just like, what the fuck just happened?
So this is the unnecessary. This is also unnecessary. Like, this is just straight up Dark Souls shit, where you find these meditation places, and then you can rest and heal, but all the enemies respawn for.
and then
It's like really weird when the enemies are
There's a sphere grid from
stormtroopers.
Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just like every upgrade tree in every game now is like this. But so it's like there's this middle path, which is lightsaber abilities, and then there's a right hand side is like health up and stuff like that, and then the left side is force powers and force.
Do like a nice force push.
Yeah, I haven't even unlocked that yet. I played like 3 hours of the game, so apparently it's like
It's supposed to be fairly lengthy, right?
Thing. Yeah, like 20,
25, 30 hours.
like that, yeah. But yeah, so you can rest and yeah, you get your health back and you. So there's like a couple of things that are, like I said, it's the Dark Souls hat.
I'm definitely tempted to try this, but I'm also interested in Outer Worlds, and
Yeah.
that's one that I
It's on
can
Game
play for
Pass.
$6 instead of $80.
Yeah. I kind of lost. I made a mistake and went to this planet that's like the worst thing in the game, and I feel obligated to finish it, but I don't like it very much, and so that's kind of where my
You should
Outer
just leave and go to a
Worlds
different planet.
Yeah, you just
kind of clunked out.
Should go to Monarch.
But I was really liking it before that.
Well, it's pretty low investment to give it a try.
What is it? Easy to climb. There we go.
There is goodness to be had for sure.
Yeah, no, I liked the first area quite a bit, and then the second area on the spaceship I thought was really awesome.
You guys have any thoughts on the difficulty settings?
I played on hard, and it was like hard for like 10 minutes, and then I found a decent gun, and then it was really easy. So
don't play on normal.
yeah, I would say, I mean, you can change the difficulty level whenever you want. So
Okay.
I I would say maybe start on hard and see what you think about it after you get yourself a decent auto rifle.
Reach the vault.
I experimented with the hollow map controls. Oh, I didn't zoom enough. I didn't move enough apparently either. Okay. They want to make sure I know how to use the hollow map. I got it. Thanks, game.
Figured it out.
Yeah. Honestly, I almost never use the map because so far the level design has been pretty simple, like 1 or 2 or possibly 3 branches. There hasn't been a whole hell of a lot more than that. But this little robot guy, he just like rides on your back all the time, which is really good.
Any ideas?
He's like your scanner visor in Metroid Prime.
Mm-hmm.
When you defeat enemies and things, he's also your
So your pulley apparently.
yeah. All right, here we go. We'll go to the toad and then maybe we can call it a thing.
I hear you. But
But
there's something over here.
new Half-Life game, guys. What a time to be alive.
I
Never thought I'd see it.
Me
That's for
neither.
sure.
imagine. I can't bring myself to give a shit.
Yeah, I'm open to the idea that it might be good, but I'm certainly not motivated to think about it right now, really.
Although I also feel like I'm not as big of a Half-Life fan as a lot of other. Like, I mean,
Even if you're not a big fan of the games, check out Illuminating with the lightsaber is really good too.
That's nice.
Yeah.
yeah.
Even if you're not a big fan of the Half-Life games, like Half-Life and Half-Life 2 are like Half-Life changed the way that first-person shooters work. Like first-person shooter campaigns are still basically just like Half-Life campaigns. And
if they're good,
every fucking video game has physics in it or some variation of it, and that all came from Half-Life 2. It's like that's such a mundane thing these days that it's hard. It's kind of easy to forget that I don't know how to dodge with a mouse and keyboard.
It wasn't a thing before that.
But yeah, like
I loved Half-Life 1, but by the time I got to Half-Life 2, I was not very impressed by the campaign.
Yeah, I think that like that I don't know. I like that campaign quite a bit, but it's like the physics stuff in it was not really in video games before then, and then also there's some really cool stuff with the lion ant AI control things that I feel like.
Lion.
Is that what I say? Lion
It's
ants?
kind of like a series of tech demos.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of like really like cool stuff that
is like not fun.
What's that?
In Half-Life 2, the airboat stuff in Half-Life 2.
Part sucks.
I don't know, that's
not,
fine.
Yeah, not fun.
I like going through the
last
haunted area.
It needs to be
and killing
trimmed.
guys
It's a
with
little too
It's
long.
too long. Half-Life
Sucks
2.
from
going.
No, that doesn't suck. You're killing guys with fucking buzzsaws. It's awesome.
That part is good.
Yeah, Mike's wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
The only part that I really like is the last hour.
Right. I mean, the last hour is great because you get the charge up gravity gun.
Yep.
I never got that far in Half-Life.
The episodes are good.
Hey, guess what, Joe? It's like playing Control all the time.
I mean, I could just now in 2019 though, I could just play Control,
That's what I'm saying.
I sense something over here.
and I wouldn't have to wait
You're
until the last hour.
Getting the good stuff.
Okay,
Check out these bugs.
those are bugs.
Let me cutting these bugs in half.
Nice.
I like the cutting in half effect.
Yeah, it's good.
I will say for Half-Life 2, actually, the thing that really impressed me at the time was the facial animation, which was, I think,
Yeah.
a big jump beyond any other game I'd played at that point.
Yeah, Alex's face and what's her dad and
Boggling eggs in the pack.
it was
It's been
really
a lot.
super weird though, like going from Half-Life 1 to Half-Life 2 and having like the random scientist guys like all merge. Like there's like hundreds of those guys running around in the first Half-Life, and then in Half-Life 2 it's just like, oh no, he was one guy the whole time.
I played a lot more games that use the Half-Life engine
Dense blocks.
Yeah.
than I played of actual
Right.
Half-Life.
But also like Valve, it's not just like Half-Life and Half-Life 2, but it's like fucking Portal, right?
Oh, Left 4 Dead,
And Left 4
Team Fortress
Dead
2,
and Team
like,
Fortress
well, Left 4
2.
Dead. Well, Left 4 Dead wasn't developed by Valve.
No,
It
it's
was developed
published.
by
But Left 4
Turtle,
Team Fortress 2 was.
Turtle beat
Was
them.
Left 4 Dead ready to, like, completely finished when they
No.
picked it up?
No.
I think Valve always gets things that are kind of half done and then makes them super good,
Right.
right? Isn't that their MO?
Yeah.
Same thing they did with Portal, same thing they did with Team Fortress.
I mean,
just
Team
like
Fortress
Team
was
Fortress and Counter-Strike.
and Dota.
Yeah. Team Fortress was I mean, I've said this before, but The first time I played Team Fortress, it was a Quake mod.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it was a. They were originally.
Oh, it was great back then too.
Yeah. Although it's like very different because there's like no comp
very
jumping and
different.
stuff like that. But
I used to love playing as medic in the Quake version because you had an axe that would disease people,
Yeah.
so you could hit them once and run away, and they'd just like slowly die of poison damage like over time.
what do you guys
basically.
think the force power button is on PC?
Q.
E-R.
Nope.
Control Alt Delete.
Does I have to use
Control or
so?
Shift?
Do you see these fan blades?
Alt F4.
Currently, the only force power I have is slow, so you can slow the fan blades and then
It's the Dead Space thing.
solve the
The
puzzle.
flan
The
blades.
flan blades. Look, man, I am concussed.
It's true.
Are you actually concussed?
Yeah, I smashed.
I just thought they
I
were
have a
made
big
out of custard.
cut on my forehead. It's gross.
Dang.
Yeah.
Was it the hard way, Eric? Was it a gig job or was it the hard way?
Well, Z is the drop down apparently. Oh no! The little robot's got some spunk.
I hate
Batteries not included.
Thanks, Lou.
You're welcome.
I don't know what the dodge button is either, which is
You
not
got
great.
spunk, Mary. I hate spunk.
You found where the pirouette button is.
Yeah, everything's a pirouette button.
You're a pirouette, bud.
All buttons lead to Pirouette Town.
Well, this game looks good, and I'd like to play it, but I'm probably going to wait until they patch some bugs out of it.
Yeah, I haven't. So I've not. I've listened. I read Brad Shoemaker's review on Giant Bomb and watched their quick look, and there was a bunch of weird bugs and stuff on there.
Know what Snarkcast just stuck into the
I think
chat.
it's a little robot in a pile of leaves.
But
Okay.
I have not run into really anything bug-wise. I literally can't continue the game without.
You just killed a whole bunch of bugs. What are you talking about?
I haven't run into
Wah,
anything
wah.
too bad as far as bugs are concerned. Well, I guess maybe that's where we'll end this video.
Snarkcast says, I take it this is the PC version because I haven't noticed any real bugs in Xbox One X.
Yeah. I haven't had any bugs really in this either. So there was a huge patch on Sunday. I bought it on Sunday, and there was also a big patch came out on Sunday, so maybe that fixed a lot of those weird. It was like not like anything game breaking, but it's just like death by 1,000 cuts. It's like bad texture pop in and all kinds of weird shit, but I haven't really bumped into any of that kind of stuff.
Texture pop. I mean, the new Pokemon is texture popping, and it's a worthless piece of shit of a game
Yeah.
because it's got texture pop in, and
true.
it only runs at
Oh,
30
man.
frames per second.
Such a
So,
bummer.
you know, this game must also be a worthless piece of
It's
shit.
one of
a
those
game
things where
got
it's like
texture popping.
people should demand better from that company because it has infinite money, but also like people don't have to be shitty assholes about it.
That's correct.
I guess.
And yet.
You know what I
It's
mean?
not necessarily a problem to complain
No, it's
that, hey, this doesn't perform the way it is.
right. You should
It
say, hey, like I want a better Pokemon game because you guys have an infinite amount of fucking money and you could time and budget and hire up and you could make this
Right.
thing that we want. But also like
But
there is like a totally
Don't
good
be a shitheel about
right,
it.
and also like at a certain point when you have 1,000 creatures and like 10,000 moves in a game, it's impossible to balance, and so there should be a point where you hit the reset button and
Right.
but people are just dicks.
Just kill the
I
Pokemon.
can't play any more of this game because I don't know how to get through the thing and my controller keeps
Pokepocalypse.
Just start hitting every key on your keyboard.
I've
until you
done
figure it
maybe
out.
one. Oh, there we go. It's one. It's the one button. There we go.
That makes-
Hey,
that
maybe
makes
try
sense.
one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go away. So
Oh, don't you want me to see this? Want to see me fix this robot's foot first? This is very endearing. Love this little robot. So there's like a ton of secret areas and stuff in chests, and mostly all you find is lightsaber parts, poncho colors for your character, which he looks like a dope in a poncho, so I never have him wear a poncho, and different colors for the robot, which is fun.
Try that.
You can turn the robot into Dead
You
Space
can make him
weapons.
into
And
a
is that
red
the
robot
workbench?
or a black robot, or you can have his stripes be blue.
Can you turn the robot sideways and shoot
stick it straight up
horizontally
in
as
the
opposed to vertically?
This robot is well on its way to becoming the second best robot in a Star Wars video game.
Snarkcast says, mine is red and white, just like R2. Oops, blue and white.
So yeah, you can see here, like,
Thank
here's
you
all
for
the different,
preemptively actuallying yourself.
all the different, like in my actual save, I have a ton, like 4 or 5 of these unlocked already. All the different things that you can make your lightsaber out of. I want green. I like green better. I feel like green is the lightsaber color.
I mean, that's when Luke starts being actually capable. That's the color of his lightsaber.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or?
I mean, we mentioned the Game Awards for a second, but we don't need to actually talk about that this week.
Anything good going on there?
Hold that off until because award shows are dumb and like self fucking filleting, and I find them generally insufferable. And the fact that the Game Awards is like even more just like full of commercials than like the Oscars or the Grammys, you know, and not like commercial breaks, but like literally like the show itself is full of like, here's a preview for a thing that's coming out, buy a thing that's coming out. Like, it's just like, well, what? I appreciate what Jeff Keighley is trying to do on some level, but I just don't give a shit, and it just whatever.
More like the lame awards, am I right, guys?
You're right. No, I mean...
Check out these stims are really good, too.
Link stim. You're full of surprises.
This is your Estus flask, because this robot.
That's better.
There's the Dark Souls hat, again. Maybe some Dark Souls gloves, too.
There you go. Snarkcast is the only good thing about the Game Awards was when Joseph Ferris did his F the Oscars tantrum. I mean, that was funny, yeah. I mean, I appreciate that we get like a big trailer dump for new games, but all I do is just watch the trailers on YouTube after the show. I don't watch the fucking show. Like,
a couple of years, Mick, what's his name that did the music for Doom actually played live. That was kind of cool.
And shortcuts.
Yeah, but then, I mean, again, like that's the thing where like,
yeah, I don't need to sit through 27 hours of a thing. I can just watch that video of that, which is what I did.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
I like this game quite a bit so far.
I would like to thank the Jedi Academy and my robot agent, Manny.
A good Star Wars game.
Mate and why? Maybe? I don't know. There's a joke there somewhere.
I'm sure you'll find it if you keep looking.
Freddie Fields.
Sure.
All right, well, let's all go listen to some jizz and...
Just okay.
George Lucas, man, he's full of something.
See how I cut that?
He is full.
That weird bug in half. Oh, look, when you open a chest, the robot goes in the chest.
Where are you going?
It's the second best way to open a chest.
I got a poncho.
Nice. Is the first best to just hold your hand over it and like pop the top off with your psychic powers?
No, the first best is to be Toon Link from Wind Waker and have a delightful animated face that looks so full of expectation.
I'm trying to think of what game was it? It was the last gen game. You just open chests by kicking them.
That does sound familiar, and yet I can't come up with what it is.
It's oh man, yeah, because you just like casually kick it and then like the stuff flies out. I know what you're talking about.
Starcast says Final Fantasy 20, then 10.
I can see the animation in
Starcast
my head, Joe, but I cannot remember what game that's from.
Yeah, I don't think it was Final Fantasy 10 though.
You guys hear all the Final Fantasies are coming to Game Pass next year?
Are they really?
Yeah, like 7.
Well,
like literally all of them?
7, 8.
I don't believe it is all of them.
No, but it's like most of the new ones. 7, 8, 12, 13.
Final Fantasy 7 came out 22 years ago. I don't think that counts as a new one anymore.
I mean, all the
Game Informer has a list of best chest openings.
Oh, there you go.
What the fuck? Yeah, what game is that from? What game is that from?
God of War 3.
See this wall? in a minute I'll be able to wall run.
Kind of Darksiders.
But I can't do that just yet. You have to unlock wall running.
What?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Bullshit.
Oh yeah, this is actually the way that you unlock wall running is really good. Like I go into this cave, and then I watch some lizards run on the wall, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember wall running." And then
apparently
you can
in
wall
Ninja
run.
Gaiden you can kick.
That's not Ninja Gaiden. That's not what I'm
that's not. That's not what I'm thinking of.
That's not the one I was thinking of either. But those are the only things on this list.
Was it? Was it Borderlands? No, because it's first person, so you wouldn't see the.
Why did you do this to me, Joe?
I don't. I'm sorry.
It's something we all played.
Yeah, it's something we all played.
Because I remember us talking about how much we liked the. Oh, I don't want to stim. I don't know how to get down.
I'm okay.
There we go.
Get down, get down. Get down, get down.
Hey, BD1.
Fuck.
That's one way to get down.
It's true.
See these lizards?
Cutting them in half.
They're gonna teach me how to wall run. Also, yeah, like whenever BD1 makes a little boop boop noise, that means that he can scan something. And then you scan it, and you would think...
What's the noise?
He goes boop boop, boop boop,
Okay.
something like that. But then he scans it, and it's like supposed to give you some lore, but it's just like 2 sentences, and there's no pictures or anything to accompany it.
That's annoying.
The magic lizard run.
Try again.
Difficult, Master.
May seem impossible.
Also, he looks really weird and bad as a kid.
And the Force as your ally, you will overcome any obstacle.
But anyway,
You will master any weapon.
I'm gonna be thinking about this all day tomorrow.
It's gonna bug me until I like it will come to me in a flash, you know, like I'll suddenly be like, it's this game.
Check out roll running.
But it is gonna bug me until I think of it.
Again, trust yourself.
Try.
Yes, Master.
Look, you fucked me up, man. You didn't make the wall appear fast enough. This is bullshit.
Was it one of the? It wasn't one of the more recent-ish Zeldas, was it? Like it wasn't like.
Was it Breath of the Wild?
No,
I was about to say it apparently is Breath of the Wild. Or at least
right?
sometimes you can kick open chests in Breath of the Wild.
I feel like this animation was like the standard.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I did it. Persistence and the Force is my ally.
Wall running.
Remembering old tricks.
I'm glad that someone exists to compile the chest opening animations from Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he does just kick. Maybe it was Breath of the Wild.
Is that what I'm seeing in my head? Can you post a link in Discord?
Yeah.
Morbid Coffee says, "What up, wieners?" So.
I hope you are settling in your new digs and that life is better.
I don't. I feel like I saw it in Breath of the Wild and I was like, oh, it's like that game. It's like that other game that I'm thinking of where you kick open the chest.
Yeah, I don't think that is the one I was thinking of.
Either. But that's a really good chest opening noise.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about it again next week, probably.
It's gonna fucking drive. It's gonna drive me fucking batty until I think of it.
No, I'm same way. I am there. I don't know.
Starcats is saying, heading off for now. Have fun trying to solve this vault. He's got to reach it first.
Yeah.
Call Lara Croft. Find out. She'll help you out.
Oh look, it says Cal lightsaber.
He's almost there.
I'm gonna start.
There he is.
I saw it earlier. I remarked upon it.
Anyway, that's it for tonight, I think. This game seems really cool so far, though. I'm excited to have a good Star Wars game back in my life.
That's a good thing.
And I'm glad to have a Star Wars thing that I like again. I don't know if I'm going to watch those movies because I just don't really enjoy sitting and watching movies that much, but I don't know. There are a lot of rubber monsters in the new Star Wars movies.
Not as many as I'd
not
like,
anymore.
More than you might think.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
Cal Lightsaber
signing off.
Is